to Governor Baker's, oh my God, I can't hear anything with this. March 12th, 2020, order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, generally C 30A and 18, and the Governor's March 15th, 220, order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Town of Holland Select Board will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for the remote participation by members of the public and or parties with the right and requirement to attend the meeting can be found on the Town Hall's website at http://town.holland.ma.us/. No person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technology means. In the event we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post our town's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. The public will not be allowed into the board committee meeting even when there are members of the public body and or city, town, staff, or officials physically present at the meeting location during the meeting. Public comment portions of the meetings will be temporarily suspended. Okay, so our first interview is with Erin Carson. Erin, you're here, right?
I am here.
Okay, it's Bettina.
Erin, this is Larry Mandel, I'm also here.
Hi, Stacy Stout, I'm also here. Janine Drake, I'm here.
And on the line we have
Linda Blodgett and Colin Johnson.
and Andy Harhead.
Oh, Andy's here?
You just said he was, yeah.
I didn't hear him.
It's okay. So, Larry, do you have some questions for Erin?
Yeah, well, I'll start off, I guess. Erin, what's your understanding of what your job responsibilities would be if we were to hire you? I just want to get an idea. You have a pretty good understanding of what we're looking for.
I believe according to what I read in the description, the all board clerk serves all boards by posting meetings, agendas, serving as a clerk for an assistant for the treasurer at times, assisting the town administrator as needed. I'm not too sure about any bills payable or receivables. I don't think that was listed, but I'm very comfortable with doing those tasks too if that's needed.
Well, I see you've been involved with the town of Holland. Are you still on the PTO?
No, I moved, Larry. I moved to Sturbridge now.
Yeah, I saw that because I was saying, well, how can she be on the Holland PTO with a Sturbridge address?
So I moved to Sturbridge 3 years ago, and now I'm on the Sturbridge Recreation Department, and I help run the Sturbridge Basketball Department instead.
Well, tell us a little bit about your technical skills, with Microsoft, website updates, things like that.
Oh, sure. In my current role as the Board of Health admin, that's my current responsibility. So I am in charge of updating all of our page for the website, the meeting documents, uploading agendas, keeping I'm also in charge of the recycling center page. So I'm very comfortable and familiar with working on, we use virtual town hall. I'm not too sure what you guys use, but
Civic Plus.
We use the same thing.
okay. And I'm very comfortable with Microsoft Office Suite and making Excel sheets, spreadsheets, budgeting. I use it for our budget. Tracking, I track all the recycling information in Excel. We use Outlook for our email. I use Outlook for my email personally and professionally, so I'm very comfortable in that. I guess if I had to ask a question to you, what exactly would you be looking for in this person's role to
Well, with me,
be doing?
I see that you are a freelance makeup artist. I was hoping that you might be able to help me out a little bit. Do you think there's anything you could do?
Well, unfortunately, actually, the governor just opened up that back up, so I guess technically we're allowed to do that again, but it's been, the makeup world has been pretty quiet during COVID-19.
I can imagine. Well, yeah, I'll let Janine or Bettina talk.
Well, one of the things I wanted to tell you is there's nothing to do with the treasurer, there's no assistant to that. It's the town administrator assistant.
Okay.
Okay, just so you know. Do you have any questions for her?
No, I remember you, Erin. I remember that you were working on some kind of an event that was happening in Holland. You were working closely with the police department. That was like, what, about 4 years ago or so?
When I met Eugene, yeah, I was working with Brian when we started the softball team,
Right.
because I was on the rec department then, and we actually were robbed. And so
I
I
remember.
got a relationship with
Oh, I
the police
remember that.
department, and that's when Pat Swain and I decided, well, we could probably do some kind of fundraiser to make the money back, and that's how the first year was just the police versus fire softball game. That's how. And actually, it was funny, Janine, because you're saved in my cell phone as the board clerk.
That was
Because
so
you were the
long.
board clerk at the time.
Right, right. So it's exactly that position. So I have a question about your availability. We're pretty flexible, but we're looking for somebody definitely on Thursdays for the bulk of the day. That's when agendas are due to be posted for boards that are meeting on the following Tuesday. And so,
Okay.
are you available on Thursday evenings? That's kind of a major day for that position.
Absolutely. I'm definitely available on Thursday evenings. What are the other requirements for the hours? Is it as needed or kind of certain days of the week or?
So it would be basically to start 15 hours to start, and then it would go down to 10 once I get an assistant to the town administrator. Then those 5 hours to make up the 15 would be going down to 10. But to start, and maybe for the next 3 or 4 months, will be 15 hours, and then it will drop down to 10 once I get an assistant. So there's also talk about this position also doing the board, the building commissioner's clerk. I talked to the building
Okay.
commissioner, and that would be 2 more hours, so we would bump you up to 12 hours, providing that the select board approve of that activity, because it's only 2 hours a week for that position. So we would need somebody to help facilitate his paperwork and the filing and handing out permits and such.
Right.
And that would be Tuesday nights, actually, he'd be interested in that.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for her?
Sure, I do. This is Stacy. I'm new to being in a board position, so this is my first time going through this, and I haven't had the opportunity to work with any of the previous board clerks. But I'm interested to know, why are you interested in the position of Holland?
It's funny you asked that, Stacy. I actually am very familiar with most of the other people in the room. I don't know if you're in the room or you're just on the telephone, but I am Holland original. I grew up in Holland, lived there up until 3 years ago. And when I started working at the Sturbridge Town Hall, I always kind of still had a pull inside to get back to Holland. So when I noticed that this job was available and open, I currently only work a part-time position there in Sturbridge. to my heart always belonged to Holland, so I was interested in seeing about getting back into town hall
Nice.
somehow.
And I assume you keep your position with the Department of Health in Sturbridge, and it's,
Well, I would be open to, exploring any other opportunities or increasing my hours for Holland if that was an option, but, yeah, I couldn't work just like the 10 hours only. So currently I work 25 hours a week in Sturbridge, and they're actually pretty flexible with, my time, so I'm available. Like currently with the COVID, I'm working remotely about half, and then in the office half. That might change soon, but I definitely would be open to possibly exploring any other opportunities you had in Holland, or yeah.
So for example, if the hours, we wanted to increase the hours, I'm just throwing this out as an example, you'd be able to work with the town of Sturbridge to be able to accommodate the additional hours that we need you here for in Holland?
Yes, and if a position became available in Holland that was agreeable, I would consider just working in Holland as well.
Tina, this is Andy. Can I just make a comment?
Sure.
Just that you know that the Holland Board of Health and Conservation has been using the All Boards clerk, and we're each, those groups are each budgeted for approximately 3 hours a week for their activities. In the past, Conservation had to use the All Boards clerk. I'm not sure what Board of Health is going to do, but it certainly sounds like Aaron is equipped to help our Board of Health as well. I thought I'd bring that up since those hours have not been mentioned.
Because we have a clerk for Board of Health, Andy.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess we need one for the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
Yep, Conservation was invited to be here. I don't see Jess here or another rep from Concom, but they, that's another, a position, I'm sorry, that's the other clerk that they would need for all board clerk hours.
Yeah, I'm just saying that there are more hours available if that's what Aaron is looking for.
Okay. Thank you, Andy. Okay, does anybody else have any other questions for Erin?
I'd like to ask an additional question.
Go right ahead.
Just in terms of trying to get to know you, Erin, and how you think. This is Stacy again. You mentioned you've had to adjust to working part-time from home with COVID. I think we're all adjusting to many things around that. So talk a little bit about that experience and what some of the challenges have been and what some of the upside is.
Well, I think there's positives and pros and cons.
Yes.
Luckily for me, I had a place in my home that I could find a little quiet spot. I did have quite a few people. My son was home from college working from home. My husband was working from home. I had children doing schooling from home. But I also think it gave us all an opportunity to find, what we could actually get accomplished from home versus what you have to do in the office. There was actually a lot of long-term projects that kind of got put to the side for the health department especially, some Excel spreadsheets that I had been starting and had to do a lot of work on that I had ample time to really dedicate to catching up on some of that. So I found that to be a pretty good use of my time. I do find though that in our line of work in the municipal, a lot of what I need to do is help the community,
feel about if we were to get we get residents that call that don't belong to you or, you know, to the select board office or to, let's say, Concom, and they call you and they want immediate assistance. How do you think you should handle that, especially dealing with this part-time office hours? We're having appointment only right now at the town hall. How would you maybe facilitate that individual getting somebody to respond to them during this crisis?
Well, currently our phone traffic, I guess, in the Board of Health Department has increased by probably triple during COVID time. And the best thing I can tell people when they call, and unfortunately they usually want an answer right away, I just take a detailed message and then instead of just putting it on the back burner, actually reaching out to the department, or I guess in your case, the board or committee members via email, passing detailed messages along. I mean, I'm not really sure how Holland handles things probably much differently than what Sturbridge did, because you don't have people sitting in all these chairs during, especially COVID time, but communication, being highly communicative, via email and phone is probably the most important thing right now to make sure that people get their answers, and then maybe giving a follow-up, call back, saying, explain to the person, well, I've reached out to so-and-so committee or so-and-so department, and hopefully they'll be getting back to you soon.
Nope, that's great. Thank you for answering my question. I appreciate that.
What did he, I have no idea. Andy, was that you? I didn't hear you.
No, it was not me.
Oh, Colin, go ahead. I'm sorry. You're coming through kind of. Go ahead.
Okay, Erin, can you tell me please, about your skill level with, the Microsoft Office kind of, especially, with Excel, with a 1 being something like you can spell Excel correctly most of the time, 2 and 10, you program in Excel and you program macros and you do pivot tables, and so sort of give us a sense of where your technology ability lies.
Sure. So I use Excel on an everyday basis currently in my current position. I would say if I was giving myself a rating on a 1 to 10, I would probably say I'm a 6. We do not use, and I do not use pivot tables, macros. I do not, I don't get into the need, I guess, for my role in something that extensive. I have recently taken a 2-day extensive Excel training where I got that my current employers provided for me. And like I said, I do use spreadsheets. I can create spreadsheets. I utilize spreadsheets to balance, multiple departments' budgets, because I run the recycling department and the Board of Health. And I utilize it in many different aspects, but no, I don't use it for pivot tables or macros, so I wouldn't go. I would say I'm probably still about a 6.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Okay. Anybody else? Because
I have a question on our list.
go ahead.
Hi, Erin. Hi, Linda. How do you handle difficult situations? One thing that comes up often is that the agendas need to be posted on Thursday, and you might not have it from a particular department, or you might have handwritten that's going to need to be typed. So how would you handle the situation? I know that for open meeting law, you have a very strict timeline in which you have to get these agendas out. So I know it's very important to get something typed and get it out there, even if it isn't, maybe put to the website quite, as long as it's stamped and posted, I believe you're okay as far as the timeline. But, that's just another part of something that I've learned over the past 3 years of working in Board of Health. Unfortunately, most of the people, I would say about 50% of the people I deal with are kind of are not falling for a pleasant reason. So, I think in the municipal world, you tend to be dealing with someone who might not be always content. And there's just a way that you can speak to someone appropriately so that they, are satisfied. But I guess in Holland, I would think that one of the challenges might be that many of these boards and committee members are possibly working full-time jobs or, and you might have to be reaching out to them, say, hey, I need that agenda to do today, or can I help you? Is there anything I can do to assist you to get it? So I guess that's what I would do. I would probably be proactive, reaching out to people with plenty of advance notice to say, hey, Thursday's the deadline, I need it by this time. If there's anything I can do to help you,
Great.
let me know.
All
All
right.
right, Eric, if you don't have any other questions for us, thanks for joining us.
Okay, well, it was nice chatting with all of you.
Thank you, Erin.
You're welcome. Have a great night.
You
You
too.
too.
Bye-bye. Okay, is Stephanie on?
Yes, hi, hello.
Hi,
Hello?
Stephanie, this is Janine Drake.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you for being here. Nice to meet you over the phone.
Stephanie, this is Larry Van Dal, I'm on the select board.
And Bettina Schmidt.
Hi, how are you?
Bettina Schmidt, I'm a selectman. We have Cleveland Johnson's on here, who is a selectman. Janine is here. We have, who else is on?
Stacy Stout.
Stacy's here from the Finance Committee. Andy Carhay is on from the Finance Committee.
Linda Blodgett.
And Linda Blodgett, our treasurer, is here.
Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for joining us.
Well,
Go ahead.
Stephanie, I think we'll ask you a few questions, and then you can ask us some questions if you have any. I guess my first question would be, I'll combine a couple to save time. Why are you interested in this position, number one? And I think you probably understand that you'd be dealing with a lot of different boards with different objectives and different timelines. And have you ever had experience in dealing with multiple groups of people and trying to satisfy whatever their objectives are without sacrificing the quality of the work that you're putting into the town? So why are you looking at this job, and how would you coordinate and handle the multiple parties that you'd be dealing with?
Sure. So I'm interested in the position because I feel like my skill set and my experience just fits conveniently. I have, a lot of experience in administrative work, and I currently work in healthcare, so I know demand very well. I work for a lot of positions, a lot of different positions. But the main reason I'm interested in the position is coordinating with my hours that I'm needing for my future plan. I would prefer to work at a facility that's community-based, whether that be healthcare, municipal, a school. I just like working for, something that's helping the community. We're all working as a team and, being a support system. So as far as being pulled in many different directions and different people needing different things, working for many different boards. So currently I work at Harrington Health here in Southbridge, and I work as an abstractor scanner for the medical record health information department. And what that entails is me basically going through medical records that come in from outside facilities and putting that information into our healthcare system, so our electronic charting. And every physician has something different that they request and different demands and, different ways they like things done. And since I work for the satellite offices, we have a huge group of physicians. And in order to get that all done, I prioritize my work. So I'm very on top of what I'm doing. I'm able to really have a lot of different moving parts while staying consistent. I have a great system as far as getting things done, and I have no problem, really getting myself in gear to get those things done. So for instance, if I have a specialty office that requests specific information, and they like it charted in a certain way, I'm able to do that and get that done through my prioritization skills, and not sacrifice the quality of my work and, not sacrifice the patient care, because ultimately that's what I'm here for, is to provide for the community and be an asset to my team.
Now, I noticed you went to the vocational school at Tantascwa. What did you study in the vocational school?
I actually did machine technology, so I did that for my vocational, so machine tech, which was very different than anything I ever would have done, but I loved it. It was challenging, it was different, and it was a great program.
Well, that's a great program. I was on that Tantascwa school committee, and I was on the vocational subcommittee, so I'm a big fan of what they do over there.
Oh, absolutely.
But, go ahead.
Stacy, do you have?
I'll defer, he has most of it.
Okay.
Hi, Stephanie, I have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
So, I'd like to let you know that we follow open meeting law pretty rigorously to the best of our knowledge and extent of the law. And so we have to post agendas 48 hours prior to the meeting date. And that's a pretty stiff deadline. And some boards, committees, and departments, they like to send in the agenda at the last minute, especially due to COVID. It presents kind of an issue for people to get the agenda at the right time, and sometimes beyond their control, they're sliding in right at the last second. Your availability for Thursdays, we're open till 5, but if need be, would you be able to work later than that to get these agendas posted by 7 p.m. so these boards, committees, and departments can meet?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
So my school schedule is tentative as of right now, just because of the whole COVID situation. I know it's crazy. But it's part-time on a Thursday, and I am available early mornings. I'm available late evenings. I live in Holland, so I'm 5 minutes away, which is very, very convenient, and I know where you guys are. So.
Great.
That's good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So how are you with, well, obviously you do a lot with the stuff. How are you with Excel and Word and?
So I'm pretty proficient with Microsoft Office. I've only used Excel for making spreadsheets, making tables. I don't have extensive knowledge in Excel, but I am a very capable individual as far as learning these programs. And really learning anything, I pick things up pretty quickly, and in my current position, I'm actually the guinea pig for when we have a new system. They kind of give it to me and let me go full brain on it, and try to work out the kinks in order to show everybody else and create workflows for that. So what I don't know is not something I won't ever know, and I'm very capable at learning new things, and I pick up really quick and can produce what I learn, which is great.
Okay.
Good answer. Thank you.
Cleveland, do you have any questions?
Stephanie, what about working with websites and making updates to websites, not building,
with updating websites. Again, I'm sure I know it's something that I'd be able to learn. I currently am the help desk administrative assistant for one of our Follow My Health portal lines. So I do the dashboard for our patient portal access. So I, was able to learn that, and I'm able to manipulate the certain invites and update certain things through that, but I don't have direct experience with creating or updating any sort of websites, but it's something I definitely can learn. I'm 100% capable of doing that.
Stacy?
Great, thank you.
Not Stacy, I'm sorry, Stephanie? It's Janine again. I just wanted to let you know that our website updating is relatively simple, and we have online tutorials that happen throughout the month, and you would just choose which day you would be available to learn how to do it, and within maybe 1 or 2 website webinars, you'd be able to update content.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, see, I'm very quick to pick up technology. It's something that I've always been really good at, luckily. So I don't have any doubt that I'd be able to learn and do it proficiently. So.
Thank you.
Linda, do you have any questions?
I think I'm all set.
Okay. Stacy, do you have any, I'm sorry, Stephanie, do you have any questions for us?
I did have a few questions. So I know that when I spoke with Janine, the hours were flexible and, to the needs of the department. Is it a benefited position?
No, it is not. It's actually going to start 15 hours to start, and then maybe in 2 or 3 months, once we receive an assistant to the town administrator, it would drop down to 10 hours, then be bumped up for another possible 2. If the select board rule a couple more hours for the building commissioner, needs a clerk for 2 hours a week.
And
So-
there's a possibility of 3 hours for Concom.
Yes, so it could go right back to 15 again.
Okay. Okay.
Does anybody else?
So,
Go ahead.
oh, no, okay.
No, I was gonna say, does anybody else have any questions for Stephanie? Stephanie, do you have nothing else for us?
I don't believe so. So it's not a benefited position. And what does the pay start at?
You got it written down.
I do. Bear with me one moment. Did we post it for $15 an hour? I don't know that I have the job description in front of me.
I didn't see payment scale or pay scale online. I didn't see any postings, that's why.
Let me get back to you on that, Stephanie. I don't want to quote you something right now if that's not accurate, so let me find out for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and look for an email from me this evening.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you coming in this way.
Appreciate the time you spent with us.
Yes, thank you, Stephanie. It was nice to meet you.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too, thank you.
What's the next, what time's the next one scheduled?
5:30.
Only 4 minutes.
Abby?
Hi, I think she's here.
Abby, are you there?
Yes, I just came on.
Hi, Abby.
Hi, Abby.
Hello. Nice to meet everyone.
Well, this is Larry. You know me.
And this is,
I do know you.
hi, Bettina, I'm on the selectmen. Janine is here as our town administrator. Stacy's here from the finance board. Andy is here from the finance board. Linda's on, our treasurer, and our other selectman, Cleveland Johnson, is here. So thank you very much. I'm losing my voice.
Well, thanks for joining us, Abby. We've got a few questions for you, and then we'll open it up for any questions that you have for the town.
Okay.
I guess my first question would be, why are you interested in this job? What's your understanding of what the job responsibilities are? I think you do understand that you'd be working with multiple committees and boards, and you'd have to basically coordinate your time to satisfy the objectives and priorities of all the various boards that you'd be working with. I was wondering how, in addition to what you think the job requirements are, how would you coordinate the various objectives and demands of the other boards that you'd be working with?
Okay, so I'll answer the first portion of the question, so the why. So I currently work a very strenuous position, a lot of hours. I do have a family now. We actually gained custody of my stepdaughter back in February. So I need something that's a little bit more close to home, a little shorter hours, so that we can reduce the cost of, childcare, and so that I can be more active within our child's life. So that's the main reason why I'm working to change positions at this time. I do understand that yes, there is administrative and clerical work to be done within regards to all of the different boards and helping, but mainly, working closely with the administrator to make sure that the pages are up to date and such that way. I do believe that I, can multitask and handle, different things on one plate. I am currently a service advisor for an already listed, so I'm actively doing 10 things at once most of the day, whether it be, contacting insurance companies or extended warranties while dealing with customers and also relaying information to technicians. So I do have, the ability to multitask and get things prioritized to get them all done in a timely fashion. I understand that, there are a lot of things going on within Holland, with a few different projects and, looking to purchase different lands, and I know that there's some work on some elderly housing. I currently, I don't have the experience with elderly housing in that aspect, but I did long ago take care of a bunch of seniors at the elderly housing here in Wales. So I do think that's a very important thing to have accessible to the town. I think that answers the questions. Was there any other part to that question that I didn't get to, Larry?
No, but one of the things I noticed is that you have your insurance license, and you're a general agent at one point in your career. So I mean, were you in a support position or a sales position when you worked for American Life?
More or less both. So I did start off as a general agent hired on to learn their systems and their products and go out and visit with customers in their homes and set up these packages based off of their needs. Within the first month or so, I was actually promoted to one of the supervising agents, so I was actually helping to train new employees as they were coming into the business
very diverse responsibilities, and your days are probably very active, and you can't always plan, and I'm sure you have to reprioritize on a regular basis. Can you give me an example of a high in your current position, something that, you know, you'll miss, something that's one of your positives, and then also a low that you weren't going to miss?
So in my current position, I actually, one of the things I'm most proud of and take to heart is I actually, when I was with Herb Chambers, and now I'm still within the dealership, so it's the same position, but different company with police. I was actually awarded what's called the Master of Excellence, which is mainly based off of customer service ratings. They did also factor in, you know, sales and profitability and all of those items as well, but I was able to go to a big fancy dinner and meet Herb and hang out with him and got that award. And I still currently, since I've been an advisor, I've actually always withheld the highest standards for customer service ratings within each dealership that I've worked at. So that's something I do take to heart. I would say a low point, I think everybody does get, you know, slightly overwhelmed at moments. So, you know, sometimes when you have a lot on your plate, you know, you do have to really take your back and kind of really figure out what the highest priority is. And sometimes that can be difficult. I think it's still something that I am good with. And some software I have had struggles with in the past. I'm not the most technically inclined person in the world, I will admit, but I know well enough to get along, and I adapt to new systems fairly easily. Once I'm shown something, I can retain the information, but I would say the weak point is probably the fact that I don't have too much actual, college or, training within like computer and software systems.
Got it, thank you so much.
I guess specifically regarding technical skills, Abby, do you have experience with the Microsoft applications?
Yeah, I am familiar with Microsoft. I do use Microsoft Outlook, Word, some Excel on the daily within the last many of the positions that I've held. And I'm familiar with PowerPoint as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Leland, do you have questions?
No, I don't believe so, thank you.
Linda?
Okay, we did the technology thing. There's also the website. I think that would primarily be a primary duty to keep that updated. And are you comfortable with learning new?
Yeah, I'm definitely comfortable with learning new systems, and as I mentioned, I have been put into, different software programs and such in the past that I've been able to work with and get through. I'm not like completely illiterate or anything like that, and I've had to update websites before with a couple of the insurance agencies that I've worked with. I don't think that I don't think I would write a program to like create some sort of significant website, but I have no problem updating one and posting things and such like that.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice as well.
Abby, it's Janine.
Hello.
Hi, I just have a comment, not so much of a question. I just wanted to let you know that the website is fairly simple to update. Once you learn how to do it, they provide online webinars They have different scheduled webinars per month. You can sign up for one and you can take it when it's good for you to learn how to do it. Plus, we'll show you immediately, in case they don't have one of those webinars right away, we'll show you exactly what to do right away to get the agendas up online, at least that.
Okay, that sounds perfect.
Good?
So Abby, do you have any questions for us?
So I don't know what the last interview was about, if it was a different position or this one. I was under the impression that it was, gonna be a, like approximately 25-hour work week and that it would be benefited. I did hear at the end of the last interview, there was something being talked about benefits, so I wondered if that was in regards to this position.
Yeah, there are no benefits with this position at all. It's right now 15 hours a week. It may go down to 10, and then it could go possibly back up to 15, because there's 2 hours available for the
Commissioner?
building commissioner, and 3 hours for Concom. So
Okay. Is there room for additional hours in the future? Is that just like a starting point?
no, that's pretty much what it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Good,
Okay.
great.
Does anybody else have anything else for Abby?
I'm going through my brain here. I'm just wondering if I do have any other questions. I feel like I understand the position fairly well, and you just went over the hours and everything. So no, I don't believe I have anything else.
Okay. Well, we thank you very much for coming, and we appreciate it, and Janine will get back to you later on.
Thank you, Abby.
Thank you, Abby.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So we have 10 minutes till we can open up the highway bills.
Okay.
If you want, you can move through some business if you wish.
Well, let's open up the highway bids.
We cannot open
Okay.
up until, you can. No, you can't. You
No,
have to do
6
it.
o'clock.
Oh, can't do till 6?
Correct.
Okay. What do we have?
Oh, I just want to let you know, I spoke to Joanne about that, and Joanne said accept all the bids. That way, if they go with the most advantageous bid and they're not available or they withdraw, then they can go to the second advantageous bid and they
Okay.
can so on and so forth and go right down the line. So accept them all,
Okay.
was Joanne's recommendation.
All right,
That's fine.
Okay,
all right.
We usually defer to Brian anyway.
he's not, I don't know if he's back. I'm not sure.
Okay.
He's not, I don't know if he's coming, I don't know.
That's
Okay.
fine.
It's fine. So then we have local inspector, building commissioner interviews, but we haven't gotten anybody to apply for it. Jack has said he doesn't want to stay on long, but he will stay and help us until we find somebody.
Yeah, the problem is, one of the problems is that the qualifications.
Totally changed.
Yeah, completely changed. And, I mean, we can hire somebody that doesn't have the proper certification, but they have to get the certification within a year after being hired. And they still need 5 years in a supervisory capacity or as a general contractor.
Well, one of the requirements is the Massachusetts construction supervisor license and state certification as a building commissioner or certification as a local inspector and be able to test an ability to obtain a building commissioner certification within 1 year.
So, I mean, in this little town, it's gonna be difficult to find somebody that has the qualifications or is willing to put the time in to get the qualifications. And, I mean,
Especially with what we're paying.
yeah, I mean, I think at this point, since we don't have anybody, do we have any good strategies in terms of reaching out to potential candidates and recruiting them and bringing them into the town? What is our marketing strategy at this point for this position, is my question.
So our marketing strategy was that we placed an ad in the newspaper, in Southbridge Evening News. We also had a state for building commissioners through the state. We submitted the job description, and our contact with the state posted that position. So that went all throughout Massachusetts and maybe beyond. I'm not sure where her connections are. And then also I wrote to Stan and asked if any building commissioners were interested in this position here in Holland. So pretty much every avenue besides going door to door.
Maybe we should to talk about going door to door, maybe we should reach out to some of the local commissioners. You know, they may want a little bit of additional income, they may already have the qualifications in place.
Yep, I already asked. North Brookfield, I'm in the process of reaching out to.
Wales.
Wales, okay, so he just accepted another position with Barry, so I think he's doing 4 or 5 towns right now. I don't think he's interested,
No, I guess
is
not.
what I heard around the horn. I don't know how true that is,
Right.
but just to answer your question about Wales, I believe he's got a full plate.
Brookfield and, you know.
He does Brookfield.
It is. Well, that's another thought.
I could do that.
I guess we'll just continue to pursue those options as far as reaching out to people, that's all I can think of.
I'm on it.
Cool.
Thank you, so,
You're welcome.
yeah. And I know, well, I don't know,
Can we extend, would the board please make a motion to extend the application process for our building commissioner, local inspector position
What is the deadline at this point?
today?
Today, okay?
I thought it says this applications will be reviewed and submitted and the position will remain open until filed.
Oh, okay, all right, I didn't know if there was a deadline, that was.
No, it
the-
says open until filled.
Good, great,
So
that's the only board had a
It's
deadline,
open then.
Good.
okay, great.
So, and then, so we, go ahead. Did somebody want to say something?
That's not-
Okay. So then we have the reorganization of the select board. And what would happen normally, because Cleveland, I know you're new to this, the last year of your term is when you're the chair. So Ernie would be, well, what was Ernie's position,
It was-
would be the chair for this going in.
I think the important point of this is that we, you know, one of the things that I talked about when I was first elected is that we rotate board chairs every year so that one person doesn't accumulate a lot of power in the position as chair of the select board. You know, if you're a chair for 10 years, 15 years, like some people have been, you know, it just, it concentrates power into too few people's hands. So the whole idea is to have you know, a rotating board from time to time, and typically we'll make a decision to elect a new chair as the first meeting of the term after the election.
So I'm nominating you, well, I'm making a motion to, am I doing this right? I'm making a motion to nominate you as chair, Larry.
I'm seconding that.
Okay.
All in favor?
I guess.
Okay.
But Gene, I'd like you to serve as assistant chair though. I mean, you know, you've got the experience as chair now, and I think that it helps all of us if we leverage your experience with my experience, so I'd like to.
Whatever.
Can I say something before you make a motion? It's in our bylaws that you don't have a vice chair, so maybe you want to word that motion to reflect our bylaws appropriately.
Yeah, well, it doesn't say you don't have it just doesn't specifically refer to a vice chair or
Right,
an
but usually-
assistant chair.
Yes, when you have a vice chair, it's stated as such.
I'd like to establish, an administrative policy that the Holland Select Board, when a new chair is elected, has the option of appointing an assistant chair or a vice chair, whatever you want to call it, is an administrative policy.
Okay, so is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Okay,
I'm establishing an administrative policy.
okay,
Do I have a second?
sure.
Sure. You look so thrilled about that, Tina.
Yeah.
So now that I'm chair, I'll
Yeah,
set,
I'm afraid I don't understand why we need to make this, change in policy. And so maybe you can help me understand that.
well, I guess my point, Andy, is that, you know, we've had Bettina, who served as chair for the last year, and in an official capacity, I'd like to be able to leverage her experience over the last year and help out running the town. I think it makes, I think it's good. I mean, you know, I guess putting her in a position as vice chair will help to, you know, deal with administrative issues that she's dealt with over the last year that I haven't dealt with. And if we recognize it in an official capacity, like I said, I think it's just going to be for the benefit of the town.
And yet none of our predecessors have ever felt the need to do this.
No,
So that's why
it doesn't matter. I don't really care what our predecessors have done. I mean, you know, I think we need to think out of the box and try to, you know, improve the process as we move forward. And I think this is an improvement to the process. And if it doesn't work, we can change it. But I think it's, you know, and then at the end of next year, if Cleveland becomes chair, then, you know, it'll be helpful to him to have somebody, or who's ever the chair next year. It'll be helpful for them to be able to leverage the experience of the previous chair. I mean, if you guys don't like the idea, I'm fine. I mean, I'll take the ball and run with it, but I just thought that it would be a nice improvement to the process. So I'll make the motion. Somebody can second it, then we can vote on it. Somebody gonna second it? If we don't get a second, we'll just move forward. Okay, nobody seconding it. I guess I'm out there on my own.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I will be happy to help. Well, you know what, we'll all help out, Larry.
I know. I just, like I said, I wanted to recognize.
Okay, so
You.
we're gonna let that go.
Okay, it's
Six o'clock, so we're gonna change gears and we're gonna open the,
Bids.
the bids. We're gonna do this because last time you did this, you made so much noise, that's all you could hear was the crinkle crinkle.
And I think I ripped half the document off.
Could you announce which ones you're opening?
Oh, so sorry.
No, that's okay, just to keep
All right,
having
All
a
States Asphalt Inc. is the first one. And they have bid chip seal surface treatment, $2.48 per square yard. Double chip seal surface treatment, $4.55 per square yard. New work chip seal surface treatment, $6.45 per square yard. 20% rubberized asphalt chip seal, $4.85. Reclaim fine grade compact and calcium chloride, $2.89 per square yard. Miscellaneous grading, $3 per hour, and miscellaneous rolling, $130 per hour.
Thank you.
And I'll just give this to you, and then you can, if you need it. So I didn't- okay.
Thank you.
The second one is from,
I'm sorry. Who is it?
what's that?
I think it's Palmer Paving.
Palmer Paving. Bit in place, 300 to 700 tons per ton, $81. Bit in place, 800 ton plus per ton, $76.50 per ton.
Bituminous
Asphalt.
concrete.
Asphalt base price is $505 per ton. And that's that one.
Thank you.
Massachusetts Broken Stone Company. Sorry, just bear with me, there's a lot of pages and a lot of. All right, so cutback grades, no bid, chip seal per square yard, no bid. Bit concrete, no bid. Hired services, paving per ton, $80 per ton. Paving per ton in place, 800 plus tons, I'm sorry, the first one was 400 to 799 tons, $80 per ton. Paving per ton in place, 800 plus tons, $76 per ton. Trucks, no bid. Tree removal, no bid. The price for liquid asphalt for this bid is $505 per ton. Any change in price of liquid asphalt will necessitate an additional charge of 55 cents per ton per $100 or $10 per ton increase in price of liquid asphalt. You only have 4?
That is correct.
So we got 2 more since this afternoon. They're coming to take the one by hand.
Yes. And they hand delivered them to me. Sealed, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, this one's taped, I'm trying not to.
That's why I brought scissors down.
Yeah, but I don't want to do what he did a couple years ago.
Oh,
He cut up the document inside.
Well, because what, I mean, what's the point of putting that much tape on it?
Oh, no, it was, yeah.
they don't want anybody open it.
Oh, my God. I really have to read all this?
You don't have to.
Yapi Construction?
Yeah, you can just quickly go down.
It would- 'cause what-
Roadway pulverization, $345. Roadway fine grade, $240. Rubber tire extraction, grader with operator, $270. Snow and ice services, grader with front and wing plows and operator, $270. Trucking, 10-wheeler with driver, $80. Trucking tri-axle with driver, $85. Dump truck with driver, $70. Their equipment items, Bobcat loader, $80. Reclaimer, $410. Grader, $260. Rubber tire extractor grader, $115. Volvo extractor, $120. I'm sorry, this is an extractor, it's excavator. JD, $230. Excavator, $140. Yeah, I know. Backhoe, $100. Loader, $100. Dozer, $100. Hose rim attachment, $100. Vibrator roller, $100. Direct labor supervisor, $95. Equipment operator, $85. Laborer, $70. Bank gravel pickup per cubic yard, $13. Delivered, $18. Processed gravel pickup, $12. Processed gravel delivered, $16.50. Blasted rock, 1/4 to 1 cube yard size, pickup per cube yard is $29 50, and blasted rock 1/4 to 1 cube size, delivered per cube yard, $44.50. And that's it.
So I move we accept all the bids and forward it to the highway supervisor for additional analysis.
I second, all in favor?
Aye.
Leland, you okay. All right,
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
so that's done.
Next on the agenda is a special use permit for 7/21/20 for size matters. What?
Yeah.
Hold
So-
on, I'm still typing the motion,
Bear
bear
with
with
me,
me.
let her finish.
Hold on.
Because the next one, our next one isn't on until,
No, 2 minutes.
This will take 1 second.
Who seconded that motion? Was it Colin?
No,
Bettina?
Gene.
no, Leland did.
See? Thank you, Colin. Okay.
My pleasure.
All right, what are you asking me? Did you
All
ask
right,
me?
we have a special use permit for 7/21/20 for size matters. It's off.
Yes.
Special use permit, 7/21/20 Hamilton Reservoir, size matters is the group. The facility mandatory is 6 AM arrival time. It is 8 boats, bass fishing
On 7/21?
on 7/21.
All right, I move we approve the special use permit for size matters.
Do I have a second?
I second that.
Okay.
All in
All
favor?
in favor?
Aye.
I do have a question, though.
Yeah.
Do we automatically get the police details if there's an event on the lake so that there's some safety net in case someone gets injured?
We don't, but these events usually happen on the weekends. I think they always happen on the weekends, and the police always patrols on the weekends. So there's a natural overlap with police coverage in these events. But we don't specifically request a detail. Or we haven't in the
Except
past.
that the police don't patrol 24/7 even on the weekends, and they don't necessarily patrol in the correct spaces and or where the event is. So it seems like there needs to be some coordination with the police department to make sure that we have the issue because we didn't provide, safety personnel.
You know, Colin, that's a good point. We haven't done it in the past, but
Yes, we have.
we haven't hired a special police unit.
We
to
have,
patrol.
they're notified. I send them, once the select board
The
approves,
police is notified?
it's notified immediately.
All right.
Yeah.
But let me, you know what I do though, is talk to Brian, and see what he does with your notification.
He coordinates.
But does he coordinate, I guess is my question.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes, so I'll check with the police chief, Clon, and we'll see if maybe we can, we haven't generally done it in the past, but let's see if we can improve the process.
Thank you, and thank you, Janine, because now we know that he actually does get informed. And I guess I wasn't trying to say that we needed to pay for a special police detail. He's already got the officers and he's got the money. I just want to make sure that he is coordinating their patrols for that particular time with the event.
Yeah. I'll check on the specific logistics, and I'll get back to the board at our next meeting.
All right, so we're gonna change gears again. And is Rebecca on?
Yes, I'm on the phone.
All right, so this is Rebecca Wellwood from
Yes.
Sturbridge. Welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I
Appreciate it.
tried getting in on the computer, but the volume wasn't working right, so I had to dial in with my phone.
That's what,
Okay,
that's
that's
what
fine.
everyone's doing anyways. Rebecca, this is Larry Mandel, Select Board.
I'm Bettina Schmidt with the Select Board.
Janine Drake, Town Administrator. Hello, Rebecca.
Hello.
Stacy Stout, Finance Board. Oh, sorry, Colin.
We have
Hi,
Stacy,
Stacy.
Hi.
Clellan Johnson's on from Select Board, Andy Harhay is on from Finance.
Is he?
Is Andy still on? Okay. Linda is here. Is Linda still on?
Linda's here.
Our treasurer is on, and I don't think there's anybody else.
Yes, there is. Could you ask who caller number 6 is, please?
Who else, who just called in? Who else is on?
Okay.
Hello?
Could call number 6 be Rebecca or no?
It's okay.
All right.
All right. Well, Rebecca, we've got a few questions for you, and I bet you might have a few questions for us, so why don't I go first, and we'll go around the table, and we'll end up with you with any questions that you have. So I guess my first question is, why are you looking at this job opportunity? And number two, I just want to see what your understanding is of what your role, what your responsibilities would be. I mean, I'm sure you understand that you'd be working with various boards and committees, and I just want to get an idea of how you would work with the different boards and committees that you'd be servicing, and how you'd be coordinating their various objectives and needs against one another without interfering with your ability to do the job. How would you coordinate your relationship and the work that you do with the, the various boards that you'd be working with?
Did you mute her?
Hello?
Hello?
Did you mute her?
Oh, maybe I did. She's in here twice. Hi. Can you hear?
Hi, can you hear me?
Okay, so you're in here twice?
That's what happens if you don't.
Okay.
mute her.
Gotcha. No, I'm sorry, Rebecca, that was my fault.
Okay,
Could you
maybe I was the extra person. I don't know.
You were, but that's okay. I got you now. You're good.
Did you hear my question, Rebecca? Did you hear my question?
Yes, I heard your question.
Okay.
Yep. What I was saying was because I'm on different boards and committees at my church, and it sounded similar to that in the sense that I'm taking notes. Some of the committees and boards that I'm on, I type up the notes. Some I don't have to. It depends on which one. But I had never done anything like that before until I started volunteering at church to do that. And once I was doing it, then I realized that I was good at it and I enjoyed it.
Great.
Now, what attracted you to apply for this job in the first place?
I think because it was similar to what I was doing at the church, in the sense that I was taking notes and organizing them and posting them, stuff like that.
Okay. So, can you give me a little more insight in terms of what you see as your roles and responsibilities? And then, if it's not a test, I just want to get an idea of, you understand what you're getting yourself into potentially.
I think it depends on how many boards that I'm working for, but it sounded like basically I would be posting information to the town website, as well as maybe taking notes for some of the boards or committees. And then sounded like doing odd stuff, like whatever was needed that somebody else wasn't doing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what it sounded like to me.
I mean, at a high level, that's accurate. I mean, Janine, you'd be working with her day to day, and she can probably fill you in on the details of, what a day in town hall in Holland would be like. But, I think generally speaking, you're,
Let me speak.
what?
He's good.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So, basically, you would be responsible for posting the deadlines for the agendas to be posted 48 hours prior to a board, committee, or department meeting. What is your flexibility for Thursdays? Thursdays are a pretty heavy day in the town hall. We do have some staff here on Thursdays. It is when we turn in vouchers and payroll every other week, so it's kind of a busy day. Are you available on Thursdays?
day or at night?
It would be during the day. Our posting deadline, drop deadline would be 7 PM. We reserve that for kind of last second emergency type situations. Usually people get us their agendas by 3 or 4 o'clock.
Okay, yep, that's fine. I do volunteer for the executive board at my church, and once a month we have meetings Thursday nights, but I'm only the backup for that one, so if I'm late or miss that one, it's okay.
Okay, it wouldn't be common, Rebecca, it would be a one-off, but just to have your availability, to know that you would be here to be able to catch anything that's, that late by accident, that would be great. And basically, the rest of the days or the hours are kind of flexible. And
Okay,
our busyness usually is around first thing in the morning, and then right before we close. It's pretty steady throughout the day with traffic when we are open. Right now, we are open by appointment only. But
okay.
I do see people sneaking in here, but we do take care of them when they do. We stay pretty busy throughout the day, consistent.
Okay.
Stacy, do you have any questions for her?
Can you tell us, Rebecca, a little bit about kind of, so you talked a little bit about why you're interested in the position and how you think it relates to what you've done with your church volunteer work, and Janine just gave some more insight. If you've got some of your skills on your resume, kind of highlighted, conflict resolution, interpersonal communication skills, and computer skills. Can you talk a little bit more about that section?
Sure. Most of that information came from when I worked for ADP as a customer service rep in the payroll field. And so I was on the phone every day, on the computer every day, talking to clients and just helping them resolving whatever issue they called in for. So I have a lot of experience in an office setting.
Was that a
And
call?
just doing whatever needed to be done. I'm sorry, what was that?
Was that a call center setting at ADP? Was it like a call center, or were you working?
When I first started there, it was not. It was, they called in, but we had our own client base. And then towards the end of the time that I worked there, maybe like halfway through, we were on a call center.
Okay.
So I was on the phone all day long.
Great, thanks. I'll defer to
So not as much in front of clients. I mean, we did have clients come in,
Mm-hmm.
but it was more on the phone.
Yeah.
Cleland, do you have questions?
Yes, hi Rebecca. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with Microsoft Office and the various tools there and updating websites? I think you mentioned that's something that you do now, but just so we get a sense of kind of where you from a technology skills point of view.
I haven't updated websites. I've used a lot of websites in my ADP job, but I didn't actually update website information. But I have used, that's okay. I have used Microsoft Access. We use every day at my payroll job. We used Office, Word, I would say the most. I've used PowerPoint. We didn't have to use those every day, but I have used them. Access we used every day, Microsoft Access.
Okay, great, thank you.
With Access, did you create the database or just use a pre-created database?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
When you used Access, did you actually create databases or did you use pre-existing databases?
It was pre-existing, we didn't create them, no.
Linda, do you have any questions?
What do you consider your strongest attributes, and in what area would you say you have a weakness?
I would say I'm very detail oriented and I'm used to multitasking. I would say those probably I get bored very easily. So that was one of the reasons why I like this job, because it sounded like you'd be doing different stuff all the time.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody else have questions for Rebecca?
I do. Rebecca, it's Janine. Why are you interested in this position so much?
It just sounded like something I would like to do because I had started doing that at my church. And so I had never done, notes and stuff like that. And once I started doing it at the church, then I realized I did like doing that.
Oh, okay, you did
When
mention that.
when I worked for the payroll company, it was very brief. Like, we talked to a client and we keyed in notes, but we didn't have to do long paragraphs or anything.
Okay,
And so working at the church, it was more in-depth.
well, thank you.
Mhm.
Does anybody else have questions? Rebecca, do you have any questions for us?
I do have a few questions. I wasn't sure how many, like, boards, committees, departments this job would entail. Is it for everyone on the website, or is it just certain groups?
Just certain. So it would be for the zoning board of appeals, it would be for, let me see. who else?
Planning
Yeah,
board.
the planning board, and also
FinCom,
FinCom, well, Fin board, and the select board.
Concom,
Concom, town clerk,
Board of Health.
board of health has a clerk.
Okay.
So town clerk, you'd be working very closely with her as well.
Okay.
And possibly the
And
building
then
commissioner.
the building commissioner?
Possibly, yeah, that would be down the road, like in a few months
Okay.
or sooner.
And I didn't know how many hours was the position?
So the hours are 15 hours per week to start, and in about 3 or 4 months, once the town administrator has an assistant, it would drop down to 10 hours, but then you could pick up a couple of more hours between Board of Health if that's available, and also, Conservation Commission and the building inspector, and go right back to the 15 hours.
Okay.
Like within a year or so, you go back up.
Okay. And so would those hours mostly entail Thursday then?
So I would prefer more like 4 or 5 hours on a Thursday, and then if you wanted to come in on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday for the remaining hours, that would be great. And then you can choose what days. We're kind of flexible there, but Thursday is really the majorly important day.
Okay, I see.
And we'll work with you. So let's say you get everything done on a Thursday and you have a doctor's appointment, you could come in on Wednesday or Monday, and you can swap the hours around like that. We're pretty flexible like that. As long as the agendas are posted according to the open meeting law, that's basically our major focus for right now.
Okay, I see. And do you know when you're opening to the public?
We don't.
Okay.
We're currently
I
open,
just figured I'd ask.
we're currently open by appointment only. But,
Right.
there's certain, legally, we can only open once you've satisfied certain requirements established by the state health department. And we're in the process of doing that, so we're not sure when we're gonna be able to satisfy those requirements.
Okay. And would I be working with the public, or am I just working with the internal town employees?
You'd be working with the public as well,
Okay. And what would I be doing? for the
answering
public?
questions. You'd be answering their questions and get them to the appropriate department, committee, board.
Department. Okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
I think that's it for my questions.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else got anything for her?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Have a wonderful night. Janine will get back to you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 When's the next, what time's the next one?
6:30.
6:30, yes. I don't know, that
6:30.
just took me out of my heat.
No, fine, fine. All right.
Rebecca, are you on?
She is.
No, the new Rebecca.
Yes.
The other Rebecca.
She is.
Rebecca, can you hear us?
I can't hear her. Okay, we can't hear you because I don't have audio on my computer. Could you call in also? Thank you. She's calling in now. Getting a drive-through. Excuse me.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Hi, thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. Should I turn the other thing off?
Yes, mute your computer, please.
Right. Right. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Rebecca. This is Larry Mandel. I think we've met once before. I think you interviewed for this position the last time it was open, right?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna turn
Rebecca, you want to mute your computer. The volume on your computer, turn that off. So you called in on the phone and used that.
Okay, how's that?
Much better, thank you.
Yay!
So, Larry Mandel.
Hi, Larry, you were
Go ahead.
Hey, Rebecca. I remember you from the last time you interviewed for this position. I remember the interview very clearly because, my first thought when last time we discussed is that you were overqualified for this position. And now, I understand the last time we talked, you're sort of in retirement mode and you're just looking for a part-time situation. So, I mean, basically, based on your resume, it looks like the town of Holland could get a lot of bang for their buck. So, I'll let most of the questions go out from other people, because
Well, I'd like her to know who's on
Oh,
before we
you
go.
didn't-
No, we haven't done that.
Okay.
Okay, so that was Larry, this is Bettina. I'm a selectman. Janine is here, our town administrator. Stacy is here from the finance committee. Linda is here from the treasurer. Leland Johnson is here, he's also a selectman. I think that's everybody?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you for coming.
So, Rebecca, I just have a couple of questions for you, and then I'll let the rest of the committee ask some questions, because like I said, I remember talking to you the last time. But one of my questions is, you mentioned a position of grant accountant, and I was wondering whether in that position you were just sort of doing accounting on specific grants, or whether you did any grant writing itself.
Great. So I worked for UMass as a grant accountant, and part of that role was not really grant writing itself, but once they obtained the grant, we had to make sure that the money flowed through correctly and relieve the grant and spend all the money that was supposed to be in the right buckets. And so once that grant was spent, we would close it down, as well as also doing clinical trials for UMass Medical School.
Wow.
Are you still a real estate broker, by the way?
I am. I haven't really been practicing. The last transaction I had was to help my daughter move into her first home in last year. So luckily she got in before all this COVID stuff.
Don't forget to keep your continuing education credits up. But-
Just maintained my CEUs, and I was able to get my broker's license, but have not really used it to the full capacity.
Wow.
I'm gonna put her out to everyone else.
Cleveland, do you have questions for her?
Sure, hi Rebecca.
Hi, first
So
of all,
I did-
congratulations in election.
Oh, thank you. I did not get a chance to meet you before, and so could you tell me kind of why you want this position and what you think you'll be doing kind of in this role?
So, we bought our house in 1999 and we became permanent residents here in Holland in 2003. Most of my career here in Massachusetts has been in Harrington Hospital Systems. And I worked my way up to the director, where I would have like 3 departments under me: billing, credit and collection, and access at one point in time. But you know, you get to the point where you're like, okay, that's as far as I'm gonna get my career. But I've always been a type A personality. I always felt like I was like the jack of all trades, master of none. I always rolled up my sleeves and worked with the team. I never dictated down. I always knew what they were doing. So if I couldn't do it, I didn't expect them to understand how to do it as well. So, but I knew that I wasn't, completely ready to, let's say, retire per se, but just kind of end that higher career managerial position to something lesser. And so I saw the position in February for the temporary one that I guess expired June 30th. And I did apply for that, and I was not selected, but I really enjoyed Janine's letter, so much so I kept it. That was really nice of you.
You did?
It meant a lot to me for you to write as much as you did about not being selected, so I appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely, you're most welcome. Thank you. That makes me feel good.
You should. It was a very good letter. In fact, I shared it with my girlfriend,
You
and
did?
she thought it was very.
That's excellent, thank you.
Stacy?
Rebecca, thank you very much for that. And I understand my letter says that you're way overqualified for the job, so. I love our community. I've been very active with the Friends of HRA, being active on the committee for the South Basin Full Launch, being active on fundraising while I was still a director at the hospital, also being on the finance committee, also maintaining, career development by being on the MAPAM, which is the patient account managers, and being on their board as well as in a secretarial role, as well as making it all the way to vice president. So, just like I said, I like to do a lot of different things. So during the COVID situation and being in the lockdown, I've done a lot of gardening and making masks. So.
Rebecca, this is Stacy. I'm going to kind of pick up on the last thing that Colin said, it kind of, you've served on, as you said, many boards and as secretary. I started as secretary on the Board of Finance too, so I can relate to you on that one. But can you just kind of describe your understanding of this position responsibilities? I understand since you already interviewed, I'm sure you know, but just for mine and Colin's benefits, we weren't a part of that, and just how you think that will match with what you're looking for?
Like I said, I've had the role of being secretary, recording secretary, and correspondence secretary, and it's very important to help to make sure everybody stays on board and what the responsibilities to and some don't get paid. But I think the expectation is to really get out to the community is more communication on what our boards are doing, so that they're very familiar when you have the annual town meetings and things like that, a lot of things don't have to be explained, because throughout the year, they're aware of the minutes, they're aware of the agendas, they're aware of all the things that need for them to know. And I think also helping Janine in her role, it sounds like, as well, and answering letters and phone calls. In my role as patient accounts director, I had to handle a lot of calls that were complaints or concerns by the patients got escalated to me, and so I usually was the final result. So I would hope I could use that experience to help Janine out as well as the other boards and departments.
Yes,
Great, thank you.
thank you.
Any?
Glenda, do you have questions?
Yes, I was gonna ask how you handle difficult situations. How do you handle the procrastinators? When the agenda has to be on Thursday.
I'm not a procrastinator. I don't see everything done right away. I do realize there are people out there and coworkers and co-departments, whatever, people you have to work with every day that sometimes they just not necessarily always push their weight. I've always been probably a strong, professional, persistent person to get them to get what I need to get my job done. So I hate to say I used it in February, but I guess I'm like a, what do you call it, dog on a bone?
Great.
Rebecca, do you have any other
They
questions?
handle it. I think you have an opportunity here with a new board member, and again, congratulations to Larry for another term for you. That, you know, if it gets down to the point where you're not getting where you want, sometimes you have to go to the top. And I know sometimes I'd have to go to the CFO or even the CEO who had to get down to message to the people that you really had to be timely in your duties and what is professional etiquette. And this is what the expectation is. It sounds pretty good when somebody from the top down rather than the bottom up.
What experience do you have with Microsoft Office?
I know Word, Excel. Again, I haven't really been in it since January 2018. But it'll come back to me. Even go to meetings and stuff like that. When I was consulting, I got on that, and we shared screens and things like that. It sounds like with COVID, everyone's computer skills have had to be escalated to try and get what they need to get done in a situation that we're in right now.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Anything else from anyone? And Rebecca, do you have any questions for us?
Last specific too. My question to you is what are you really looking for? I know that I would assume someone got selected in February. Obviously, then the coronavirus hit. I'm sure there was restricted hours within the town. I'm not sure if you guys gotten back to full capacity. I know some of the western towns in Mass are talking about September 1st before they let fully people coming into the buildings and things like that. So where are you on that? And again, what are you looking for in a candidate that you may not have gotten in the first one, or is that person may still be reapplying in this position and maybe have a better understanding of the couple months that they did do the job?
Well, we have opened the town hall to appointment only right now, and we're not sure when we're going to be opening it because there's some restrictions from the state that we have to go through that we aren't at, we're still working on. The woman that we appointed for the position, only took it, she knew she was only gonna take it through the end of June. So, she's done Friday of this week. So, and then the person that had it before had gone as our temporary town clerk, which we thought she was gonna go back to it, but she has actually taken a position in Auburn, so that's why it's open again.
So that was Lynn Green and then Jennifer Mott at the town clerk position?
Yes, because the girl that was our all boards clerk was Ginger, and she went in as the temporary town clerk, and then she got a job in Auburn, so we had to appoint a temporary town clerk, which was Lynn Green, and now Jen Mott has been elected as the town clerk. So Ginger would have gone back as the all boards clerk, but she's left us completely.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else, folks? If not, Rebecca, thank you very much. It's nice talking to you again.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Janine will get back to you shortly.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Did she hang up?
Janine.
Did she hang up?
I'm sorry.
All right, folks, I think,
No, she did not.
So, let's move, we'll come out of this, we'll move on to the cable commission
All right.
hours.
yeah, that sounds good. Let us know when,
But, yeah, just,
Janine,
Wait a minute, Phil.
okay.
This isn't very quick, so you have to hold bear with me.
So the cable commission hours, I think what we were talking about is just going from a stipend to an hourly rate.
well, it says up to the
And
40 hours per month is allowed for training, a reasonable amount of town's time. So they're looking for 20 hours of training for Tim and 20 hours of training a month for Simone. Cleveland, do you have any problem with that? Is he still here?
I don't know, he's muted and
I have you.
there we go.
So these are the cable commissioners, and this training is so that they know how to do their job, or
Yeah, just-
what?
Because
So-
they're all brand new, we had somebody here who bought all this new equipment and they've got to learn it all.
And, you
Oh,
know,
I see.
and we're desperate to get this back on cable access. And the people who are now on the cable commission need some professional training in order to, number one, just provide a basic service by being able to televise the select board meeting, but number two, hopefully, add some value by giving them some ideas of expanding, the town hall cable access service beyond what we were doing in the past. So I think it's a good investment.
And so would this be, is this something that would fall under the Board of Selectmen budget area, or is this
No,
something
it's-
new?
It's at a peg.
Oh, okay. So it's grant money, right?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, then. Yes, I'm good with this.
So, do I have a motion to,
Do I have a motion?
you don't take over to the next meeting?
Who's making the motion? Let's have it crisp.
I'll make the motion
Thank
to approve 20 hours of training for each cable access member, cable commission member, cable
Well,
commissioner.
the third one doesn't want to get paid, which is Alan Johnson.
Okay.
Okay.
I will second the motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Then now we have year-end transfers. So, transferred between department appropriation in accordance with Chapter 77 of Acts 2006, amending Chapter 44, Section 33B, non-expiring of Massachusetts. So police training expense, we're transferring from, I don't know what these accounts mean.
So if you're taking money from their training account to,
It says transfer account, this account 001 to 000, I have no idea what that is.
yeah, they're transferring the police training from that account to police expense to this account.
Oh, got it.
Okay.
So from police training to police expense, they're asking to transfer $1,932.55. And from police uniforms to police expense, they're asking to transfer $260.
Motion to approve the transfers.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Second.
And we have council on, is it council on aging?
Yeah.
Council on Aging town account to community center lunch account, $500. Do I-
And is this just because the lunch account overspent their budget, or is there something specific that we know?
I didn't receive anything specific, I just received the year-end transfer.
Oh, or see, funds voted to transfer to the community center lunch program to assist in keeping the cost lower for the curbside meals.
Who requested that?
Brenda?
No, Robin Wilson,
Oh, the kitchen.
the councilman, isn't she council on
Yeah,
aging?
council on aging.
Council
Sorry.
on aging.
I'm gonna shut up, I'm gonna
requested it.
stop talking. I'm just gonna stop talking.
Motion to approve that transfer.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. All right. 7, we have vacation time for town administrator, so I'm gonna let you explain this.
Okay, so I took my vacation for the week of the 22nd, I believe was a Monday, 21st or the 22nd, but I worked Friday the 19th from 8 in the morning until 4:30. That was part of me being off. And so I'd like that day added on to 21, so I have an extra day. And then I worked a half a day, actually a little bit longer, for the meeting. And I came in on my vacation day to work the meeting. So I'd like that half a day put on fiscal year 21, so a day and a half that I get to roll over for fiscal year 21, so I don't lose it.
Motion to allow, so you want to roll it over into fiscal 21?
Yes.
Okay. Motion to roll the extra hours put in.
Well, I know the night of the town meeting, she was on vacation that week, so.
Yeah, so I'm okay with that, so I'll make a motion to roll those extra hours into your vacation time for fiscal year 21.
Day and a half.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, then we have Solitude June 2020 invoice payment, and we want to take $14,002 out of lake maintenance and $988 out of LOC expense.
Yes.
Second, I make a motion to pay that invoice as outlined by you just now.
You're making a motion to accept this, like,
Yeah.
To pay it out of the LOC expense, that's majorly important in the motion.
Yeah, so 900 out of LLC expense and the balance out of lake maintenance.
Yes.
do I have a second?
A second, yes.
Was that
All in-
988?
$988
Thank you.
on the LLC, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so that's done.
Bettina,
Yeah?
do you have any other, transfers? I thought there were some other departments that had the transfer pages request.
There's only two here. Very,
Well, that's funny, because I was just texting Cleveland to ask, what determines whether the finance board or the board of selectmen approves the transfers? Because I saw today when I checked the email that there was one sheet with 3 on it. I don't have it right now in front of me.
Nothing,
well, I have two for the police and I have the one for COA, but that's all that's here.
right, that's all I had.
Can I pull up the?
Yeah,
I
please do.
thought,
Definitely I have one.
I thought
What?
I believe that the finance board also has to approve transfers, not just the board of selectmen. So the finance board has to approve these as well.
I thought
Yeah, they do.
when they came to bring their papers to Lori to do the transfer, I told them, take it to the selectmen, they'll pass it on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, the finance board can pass it.
Except we're not meeting till next Wednesday. That's, so they're supposed to be due on the 13th, and we're not meeting till the 15th.
She has to have it on by the 15th.
So I think we have to do an emergency
Every-
meeting, right?
Yeah, that's the only way you can do it.
Well, you don't do an emergency meeting, you just do a meeting. It's not gonna be emergency, like you could have a meeting
Monday.
in 2 days.
Yeah, but
48 hours.
okay.
Emergency is if you don't have enough time to post the meeting.
If it
So if
falls
we
under
post
the
it
guidelines.
tomorrow, we can meet Monday, what you're saying?
Yes.
Because it has to be done by Monday, so we don't have another choice.
Yeah, so if you post it tomorrow, you can have it on Monday. Yeah.
Okay, I'll reach out to the finance board.
What are the other year-end transfers? Nobody gave them to me.
I have the email from Lori, so I'm sorry, let me just.
I thought Joanne had a page, and I'm trying to think of who the other one was.
Yeah, Joanne did, and that, we approved that a couple of meetings ago, Linda,
Okay.
I think.
So what Lori sent to,
So,
so this is what I have, this is, Lori sent this to, it says Board of Selectmen and Finance Board. Snow and ice wages to be transferred to snow and ice expense, $7,580.64. Assistant treasurer wages to be transferred to assistant town clerk, $615.22. Assistant treasurer wages to be transferred to police expense, $2,934.78. That's what Lori sent to
When did she send that?
Monday, but I just saw it today because I got into the email.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, let me double check.
Monday as of yesterday.
Okay, hold on.
Right, today's Tuesday.
So did you have these two?
Nope.
You don't have these two?
No.
So what
or the one from Joanne, we haven't, one from her either.
Who put together the one you have, Regina? Who did that come from?
I don't know who gave it to her, it was in here.
Who gave you, Jane, who gave you the one that Bettina has? Where did that come from?
They were handed to me,
By,
chief.
okay.
And then COA, that one, I'm not sure if it was in my box, could have been in my box. So Monday,
This came to Town of Selectmen and Town of Finance Board Monday, 7/6 at 2:06 PM.
town admin too?
No,
Yeah, so how would I have it?
I don't know.
Well,
this
when you
one.
go, don't you go on the selectmen's email?
Oh, went to selectmen?
That's what she
Yes,
said.
to Town of Holland Selectmen and Town of Holland Finance Board.
I do go to
From
selectmen,
Lori.
I missed it. Do you know how many emails I get?
I'm just, yeah.
I get tons.
Okay.
Yeah, I missed it. I do check it, and I just checked it yesterday, and I didn't see it.
So can we run up and print it?
And then we'll approve
That.
that along with that, and then
We'll give it
And
to
then I'll need to get that other one.
Yeah, we'll give it to you, the three of you, take.
No,
Good, glad, because
I was just texting Chloe going, how come I know about one and not the other? I'm not sure. How it works.
do you have the, while we're waiting, do you have the Sickles purchase and sales amendments that we can sign?
well, let me get to it. All right, so we have purchase and sale, Sickles project, 17 acres.
Do you want to just explain what it is?
Why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, we've got two amendments to two purchase and sales agreements. One purchase and sales agreement is for the 17 acres municipal property, and the other amendment is for the 156 open space acres. The municipal property amendment is just extending the closing date until, I think, September 9th.
Yes.
10th, whatever. And the one for the open space is an adjustment to the purchase price for the additional acreage that was determined through the survey. It also extends the closing date until September 9th or September 10th. It also approves the open space covenant. So we've got two amendments that we need to execute as a board tonight. So I'd like to move that we sign the amendments to both purchase and sales agreements.
All in favor?
Aye.
So, Cleveland, we're gonna sign them, you're gonna have to come up and see Janine tomorrow, because these have to be signed by all three of us, if possible.
Okay,
Are you around?
sure.
Okay,
Yeah, absolutely.
cool. That's good. Awesome. Thank you. Yep. So then we have this year-end line transfer request from snow and ice wages to snow and ice expense for $7,580.64. And assistant treasurer wages to assistant town clerk for $615.22. And assistant treasurer wages to police expense for $2934.78.
Motion to, I was actually talking to you.
Okay, motion to approve. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, so I'll give this to Jan. We gotta give these to her. Not to you, Stacy needs to take these with her.
So we'll go back upstairs, I didn't have enough time to do it right now, because I have to research it, but we did, the select board approved year-end transfers at one of our June meetings for, and I can't remember who it was for. So I'll have to get that to you.
So, while you were upstairs, we did the purchase and sale signing for the sickle project.
Hold on, I'll get it. Okay,
Larry made a motion to approve them and sign them.
great.
Did I give them to you, son?
I gave it to you.
Okay.
I gave it to you.
And Cleveland second,
Okay.
we all approved. And Cleveland, I believe, said he could come in tomorrow to sign it. All right?
I'm not here tomorrow, I'm working from home tomorrow. I can leave them on the counter for you.
See your keys?
He does.
Okay. So she'll leave them on the counter for you to sign.
In the,
Select-
selectman office,
Yes.
is the counter, okay.
Okay. Next is the MVP grant opportunity.
Oh, yes. Did you want me to call Jay Mooney? He's available if you want to discuss it further with him. I did give you some
He's
information on it.
probably, he might be in the middle of a call with the LLC. Just use.
Did you want me to call him or no? I don't know what he's
Yeah,
doing.
I'd say give him a call, because I want to understand that a little bit better.
Define climate-related hazard, understand how they may impact by climate change, utilizing the latest science and data. Identify existing and future climate vulnerabilities and strengths, identify opportunities to take action to reduce risk and build resilience. Implement priority actions defined through the planning process. Awards average about $27K and would be used to hire a consultant to lead the town through a one-year planning process. The town would be required to match the award with at least 120 person-hours at the time throughout the planning process.
Right.
Upon completion of the town's plan and submittal to the DEP's office, the town will be eligible to apply for action grant for 2022 towards the project, labeled as a high priority in the planning process. Implementing awards is maybe as high as $1 million with large projects divided into phases, and it's okay to apply for action grant multiple times. About 20% of action grant applicants get funded annually. Examples of climate change vulnerability projects include solar canopies over parking lots, HVAC systems, open space purchases, culvert replacement, dam replacements, and removals. So, I guess what Jay's asking is if we want to go forward with looking at doing this.
He's not available.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I think we should, but I wanted to talk to Jake just because he's juggling a few different grant projects, and I just want to get a cost benefit analysis from him to make sure that from his perspective, the time that he spends working on this doesn't take away from a grant opportunity that might be more financially beneficial to us. So that's my only concern. But he's not available.
No, and I can't answer that.
No, you can't. So do you want to, let's table it till our next meeting.
I don't think we can. I think it's due on Friday.
Then I move to approve that we pursue this grant opportunity, subject to a discussion with our grant writer.
MVM plant grant applications are open on a rolling basis until August 7th.
Yes, but I think there's a deadline. There's so many grants going on simultaneously. He mentioned something was due on Friday. I think I made it a point to get it on the agenda tonight so we could be available for that deadline. So I'm not exactly sure now.
I say we approve it, subject to a discussion with Jay Marie. And if he says, yeah, you should definitely go ahead with it, then we're good. If he says we shouldn't go ahead with it, then we can reconsider it. But just get it on the table, so.
I second,
Yeah.
I second Larry's motion.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Right, look at the agenda. Then I guess we were awarded a MEA grant, reward options, and we were given so it looks like $433?
Yes.
Okay. So MEA has given us $433 to use. And what can we use this for?
There's a list somewhere.
There's a list in the middle of, right before the amounts that are due. It's basically for like PPE, it's in your hand.
This?
Nope, it's in your hand. Yep. So in the middle,
Oh, personal protection equipment, turnout gear, rain gear, generators, radios, repairs to roofs, gutters, walkways, services, tree pruning, removal, catch basin cleaning, video cleaning, parking lot paving, sidewalks repairs, removal of asbestos, lead, video cameras, program development, training and updates, and employment practices liability assessment.
Is that a menu that we have to choose from?
yes.
Yes.
So I guess we got tons of PPEs. I mean, in addition to masks, I mean, it's $433 isn't a lot of money, so.
But we do need a camera for outside. I guess there's some, talk of the rec department wanting a camera to face the courts and such. And right now, the police are looking into what camera would be great for that. So if there's a camera on there, then that would be something. If you can't think of anything, I know that we're pursuing a purchase right now for the town hall.
So we just, the camera costs
So it would be
more.
like, the cameras that are in down here,
Mm-hmm.
but it would be out all across the field.
And then we're gonna tie it right into our system.
So if it costs more than $433, we just apply it towards the total cost.
And we have a total grant amount of $900 and something. I don't know, I think they break it down, they split it in half for some reason. I don't recall, maybe, I don't know if it was like half for fiscal year 20 and half now. I'm not exactly sure. I want to get more accurate information on that. It breaks it down for us, but it doesn't have an explanation as to why.
Okay. Leanne, do you have any questions on this? Are you there?
I don't think so. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
And no, I don't have any questions on this, thank you.
So would you have a problem if we used it $433 for a video camera for the back of the town hall? So it would be over the field and the basketball courts?
I would, because I think we should use it for clearing the catch basin at the dam, since we're supposed to do that every year, and we have not been.
Is that
But it's not enough, I don't think, to do the whole project.
is that one of the things that's on the list of approved expenditures, though?
Well, remove catch basin clearing.
Okay. Then it is. I'm fine with that. I move to use the MIAE money for to clear the spillway, the catch basins around the spillway.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, I second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Then we have a couple of appointments, and we're done. Didn't we do COA?
No, we got to approve the town administrator, the assistant town.
Yeah, we will.
The all boards.
All right, well, let's approve the appointments.
Okay.
So COA, we have your appointments. I thought we did the
We
COA.
did. They
So we don't have
wrote
to,
me again? No, we don't.
we don't have to do
We already
COA.
did.
So plumbing inspector, George, I am not gonna say his.
Wollstonecraft?
And electrical inspector, Bob Garin.
Yes.
Appointment of John Comfort as veterans agent until we have to get the job posted, so temporarily.
Move to approve those appointments.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
yes,
Okay,
aye.
all right. So is there anybody online besides